And welcome back to Who Would Win. Today's Who Would Win comes to us from Tinsaiga Varys, who asked the question, who would win a fight, Azula from Avatar The Last Airbender versus Kakashi from Avatar The Last, or from Avatar The Last Airbender, from Naruto. Uh, Azula was obviously the crown princess of the Fire Nation and the would ultimately become temporary Fire Lord. She was highly skilled in hand-to-hand combat, which she learned a little bit from Ty Lee, capable of going easily toe-to-toe with Kyoshi warriors and other highly skilled, fighters. She was also trained in weapon mastery, or at least weapon usage from from Mai, as we see her using like throwing daggers, things along those lines. She's also a cunning strategist as well. Her bread and butter, obviously, though, was firebending. Firebending, in her case, took the form of a blue flame, which is naturally hotter than a standard, orange, yellow, red flame. She could use this in a number of ways, including, just standard blast. She once got out of she once got out of close range combat with Zuko by spinning and creating a fire blast, I believe. You could also argue anything Zuko could do, she probably could do as well. So she could probably do the fire whips we see him do, the fire daggers, creating kind of like the fire shield. Because she was considered a prodigy and by all accounts better than him. Up until probably like the end of the series where he did at least manage to tie her. But this was partly due to an unraveling psyche. She was going nuts. One of the other things she's shown to do is she can actually fly with fire bending as well, which is actually very impressive. Basically using the force of the flames to just lift her like a rocket. But kind of why I guess the comparison was used is because she can also use lightning bending as well, where she does the whole form and then fires a lightning bolt at someone. She's very dangerous, very skilled, but also extremely unhinged, particularly near the end of the series where she just went nuts. Kakashi, obviously the Jonin Sensei of Team 7 and the eventual Hokage, the 6th Hokage, is a Jonin and Hokage, former Jonin and Hokage. He's retired now, but he's still active if he needs to be. He's in his 40s in Boruto. They talk about that like, oh yeah, he's old and stuff like that. But in ninja terms, sure, he'd be an old man. But if Jiraiya could be active and still the alleged strongest of the three Sannin in his 50s, and Tsunade could be, kicking ass in her 50s, yeah, Kakashi ain't old. That was always one thing that always bothered me in the series. Like, old man's like, he's in his 20s, you little shit. Anyway, I get it. It's in context of their world. But, Kakashi, though, has lived through several wars. In fact, he lived through, the third and the fourth war. And now the question is, am I using Kakashi as he is now, or am I using Kakashi as he was kind of at his prime with the Sharingan? I think using the Sharingan is the most effective, but we can briefly address him without the Sharingan as well. He's said to be the man who copied over 1,000 jutsu, and even without the Sharingan, he still has access to all of those jutsu. He is skilled enough to go hand-to-hand with master hand-to-hand combatants. He can go toe-to-toe with Guy for a little bit until Guy pushes it up. And then Kakashi has to use other techniques. He's a skill tracker, a genius, weapons master, including using things like blades, kunai, shuriken, explosive notes. Obviously, he has all the ninja tools at his disposal. He's a cunning strategist, because you have to, when you're a ninja, you have to be able to strategize to some degree. And obviously, that coincides with all of his techniques, including, obviously, he has the basic three, clone jutsu, substitution jutsu, transformation jutsu, but he has numerous amounts of earth jutsu, including mud wall, hiding under the ground technique, fire jutsu and spades, dragon fire technique, flame jutsu, fireball jutsu. We see him use a lot of water jutsu, including water vortex against Zabuza, water dragon jutsu, water clone jutsu, and obviously his specialty is actually lightning jutsu, where we've seen him use the lightning tracking hound jutsu. I love that technique. I just thought that was a really cool technique when I saw it. Lightning tracking hound jutsu. He can use Chidori, and obviously the lightning blade. Purple lightning is something he developed when he couldn't use a Sharingan anymore. The Chidori and lightning blade give him tunnel vision, but the Sharingan mitigates that. It's a piercing technique that can pretty much pierce through just about anything, and even cut through a bolt of lightning one time. He can also use it in melee combat. He can heighten his weapons with lightning chakra. Kakashi is just he's a bad mofo, and then you factor in the Sharingan, which can copy any jutsu he sees, copy and understand any jutsu that he sees. Follow and comprehend any movement he sees, as long as he can keep up with it, so he can track pretty much anything. Put people into genjutsu, which he also knows, and then have its sorry, I'm trying to remember everything it can do. Then have its upgrade version of the Mangekyo, which has the Kamui, which, opens the wormhole, which you either go to a different dimension or just take off limbs and just, they're gone. It makes me laugh. The Dendo's arm is probably just lying in Obito's Kamui world, which is probably why how he was able to get it back. And then if you were to theoretically give him both Sharingan, he could actually use Susanoo and use a Kamui Susanoo, which was messed up powerful. So, but Kakashi, like Azula, is still human. He's also prone to chakra exhaustion, although he learned to better chakra control in the second part, and B, he learned to increase his chakra reserves quite a bit. He still is prone to that because the Sharingan isn't natural for him. So these two meet in a fight. Azula is definitely going to be the aggressor. Let's say the Fire Nation is evading the Leaf, I guess. Or is it attempting? She's like the envoy for it. And it's like, hello, I'm Princess Azula of the Fire Nation. Oh, well, that's interesting. You're in the land of fire. I haven't really heard of the Fire Nation. Oh, no, different place across the sea. Very powerful, very important. But don't worry, you'll come to know it very well when we take you over. We're the Conquerors, so if you'd be kind enough to surrender, that'd be great. Kakashi just takes out his books like, well, that's an interesting idea, but I'm going to have to say no. As the Hokage of this village, or as the leader of this, as one of the ninja of this village, and in the scenario where he doesn't have the Sharingan, as a Hokage of this village, I can't really allow you to do that. Oh, that's too bad. I'm afraid we're going to have to kill you, man. And they just, launch fire. And Kakashi would take note that they did that without hand size. These Keke Genkais, what are they doing? Anyway, Kakashi just substitutes and quickly just boom, 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 boom. Takes them all out, either kills them with a kunai to the neck or just knocks them out. It's like, oh, so you really are more than just a bit talk. Very well. It's like, and she just fires, and he can tell it's blue fire. That's a lot stronger than before. And she's just firing fire. Earth style, mud wall jutsu. And then he's like, oh, an earthbender. Interesting. Very well. It's like, I can't get to that. And all of a sudden she busts through with lightning, and he sees that lightning chakra as well. Huh. No kidding. It's like you're mine. And Azula would basically be on the aggression, or on the attack, while Kakashi's evading. Unfortunately, while she can be very versatile, she actually is very limited in what she can do against Kakashi. She actually gets in to a hand-to-hand fight with him, but he's more than capable of keeping up, even actually delivering a good couple shots to her. Just boom. You're pretty good for an earthbender. Earthbender? I'm afraid I'm not quite sure what that is. Your movements are also a little too predictable. He's got his Sharingan activated. She doesn't even know what the eye is. Like some sort of eye, whatever. It's like, fine, dodge this. It's like, if she fires, lightning. She fires lightning at him. And he's like, and he just activates Shidori and just boom. It's like, and she's now shocked. Like, wait, what? No, you're an earth. How did you're a firebender? How'd you do the earth style? You're not very familiar with how we work around here. Well, let me enlighten you as he just disappears as a shadow clone, and then she hears the chirping birds. She's able to dodge. That's like, and then he just comes in again with delivers a kick straight to her gut. You can kind of see actually where this fight would be going. Azula would be getting more and more angry as the fight goes on because she can't lay a hit on this guy. And the few hits she might be able to get are grazes, or he's using a substitution or a shadow clone jutsu. She just doesn't have she has the firepower to actually kill him. She just doesn't have the skill or the experience or the mindset in order to actually be able to beat him in a straight out fight. He's too skilled. He's had way too much experience dealing with far more skilled individuals, and he can keep a level head far more effectively than she can. When we actually see Avatar, she is actually pretty easy to frazzle if you know how to frazzle her. And someone just being that much better than her in a fight and just kind of mocking her a little bit, because Kakashi would toy with her a little bit, that would just eat at her. So ultimately, yeah, as the fight continues, she eventually just decides to go all out. She's pissed off. And I think actually she could probably, there's nothing to say that Firebender can't use lightning and fire together. She'd fire off the lightning with her one hand and then fire with the other hand. And Kakashi would even be like, that's not good. It's like, and he's even caught off guard. It's like, crap. And he just, come on. Then, she sees the technique disappear and just like, and his eye starts to bleed a little bit. No, actually, after one, I don't see that because he actually learned to even put a little bit more effort in it as the time went on. So after one, it's like, yeah, this is over. And, he rushes in and then he's just right in front of her. And it's like, sorry about this. And then just come away. And then she's just like, Gah! And she grabs her so she doesn't like go anywhere. She's and he just takes her head off. Or he could easily just, at that point, just a lightning blade her or kunai to the chest. Any of those. So really, Kakashi, I think, will win this more times than now. No. Okay. If we watched Lethal Weapon a couple weeks back, so Joe Pesci and that stands out to me. Okay. There is, as I said, the scenario of Hokage Kakashi who doesn't have Sharingan. It's still pretty much the same thing, minus the fact he doesn't have Kamui or Sharingan to use, but he's still got far more experience, skill, and versatility in his arsenal to counteract her. Like, her firing lightning is great, but it's such a one-directional attack that he'd either be able to block it with his own lightning attack or just dodge it or use a substitution jutsu. And then Headhunter jutsu is like, damn it, oh, she's actually able to explode out of there, but too little, too late. Like, he gets her, he injures her, and maybe he gets the hounds on her, and, she can't go anywhere, and she's ultimately, like, she's pinned, and, just, so there you go. Kakashi would win this, I think, almost all the time. There might be, like, a 1 to 5% scenario where she does win, but it's not a very likely scenario, in my opinion. That is just my opinion, though. What do you think? Do you think Azula would take it more oftentimes than not, or do you think it's Kakashi all the way? Let me know. But until then, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. As always, you want us to review something, put in the comments below, let us know. We'll do a review of it at some point. Hit that bell if you want to be notified. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later.